I'm KK Reaper.
And I'm Luna Reaper.
And this is
A Frightful Eve.
This evening, we will be reviewing The Invitation, about a young woman who is swept away to the English countryside in search for a family she makes contact with after a DNA test, and discovers their dark secrets once becoming trapped within a vampire's mansion.
But first, the horror news. Hulu is bringing back Hellraiser, coming this October 7th. Our main character Riley, played by Odessa Adlon, is trying to solve her brother's disappearance while having no evidence other than a mysterious puzzle box. Without realizing the power she is up against, Riley releases all the powerful Cenobites. With many more roles unannounced, we have great news that actress Jamie Clayton as the infamous Pinhead. This take on Hellraiser is expected not to be like any other rendition that we've seen before. As that may make most fans skeptical, this team of producers will be including the one and only Clive Barker, the original 1987 director. Hulu really is on a roll with the horror collection. After enjoying Prey, I can let myself get really excited for a horror classic such as Hellraiser being shed in new light.
The 1988 cult classic, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, has recently regained much attention. At the height of it all is the news that Killer Clowns will be getting the video game treatment. Set to release in early 2023, the Killer Clowns game comes from the same creators as Friday the 13th the game, and likewise has a similar visual style. It also looks like the game runs in a similar fashion as an online Survivors vs. Killers layout. The game will be coming to Steam, PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox Series X and S, and Xbox One. The screen captures, as the game continues in development, look amazingly accurate to the film with close attention to detail. You can sign up for the beta version now on their official website.
HBO will be gifting us the origin story of Pennywise the Dancing Clown, titled Welcome to Derry. The tale of disappearing children without a trace will be explained from day one. Writer Shelley Meals, announcing this on Instagram, had let the world know that this anticipated series is well on its way in the writing room. There may not be much information to give since this was all released in March. However, they have struck while the iron is hot. Its 2017 Chapter 1, as well as its 2019 Chapter 2 reboots from Stephen King's original creation, were wildly successful. I am personally curious to see what cast members, as well as the production team that is involved, will be in this series.
An immersive Halloween experience is coming to Homedale, New Jersey this September 30th through October 31st. Hauntoween is an all-ages spooky playground taking place in the Bell Works location. Go trick-or-treating in the town of Hauntoween. Walk through thousands of pumpkins. Enjoy a multitude of games and rides. Get your face painted. Partake in food and drinks. The list is endless. Ticket prices start at $40 and children under the age of 2 get in for free. Stay as long as you would like in this expansive, family-friendly, 200,000 square foot space. Make sure to take plenty of photos and videos. You'll remember the month of Halloween for years to come.
The dynamic duo Jordan Peele and Keegan-Michael Key are at it again. Jordan and Keegan will be recognizable voices in the newest adult stop-motion horror comedy, Wendell and Wild. Premiering this October on Netflix, Peele and Key are two mischievous demon brothers attempting to be brought through to the other side by tricking Kat, a teen with an ability to see the supernatural. This will not be so easy with Kat's friend Raoul and mentor Sister Kelly, voiced by Angela Bassett. This demon-hunting trio keeps the other side at bay, but can they keep this up for long with the trickery of Wendell and Wild? Directed by Henry Selick, creator of Coraline, this seamless stop-motion style will put us in awe, just as The Other Mother once did.
The trailer for the highly anticipated Terrifier 2 finally dropped over the week, along with the news that Art the Clown will be hitting the big screen with an exclusive theatrical release. After being resurrected by a sinister entity, Art the Clown returns to the timid town of Miles County, where he targets a teenage girl and her younger brother on Halloween night. Writer and director Damien Leone has teamed up with Bloody Disgusting for the release of this film, and it certainly seems like it has increased the production value immensely from the original. However, it still has all the elements that made Terrifier and Art just as gruesome and, well, terrifying, while one-upping the crazy. Will Terrifier 2 be able to top the infamous hacksaw scene of the original? We will have to find out this October 6th. And now for the review of The Invitation. Take it away, Luna.
I mean, you know me, KK. I'm a massive, vampire enthusiast. I was very excited to see this. I won't throw it away in the trash. That being said, I really thought I was watching a romance film for a while.
It definitely felt like that for quite a bit. There was a lot of elements to the trailers and things of that nature that I was like, oh, vampire film, like first time in a while. Haven't really seen anything like that in quite some time, and it was just a lot of build-up to this last, I don't know, 20-ish, 30 minutes maybe?
Yeah.
And it was that was, if that had been the full hour 30, I would have been like, we're set, we're golden.
I mean, I know you heard me in the movie theaters whenever what was our main vampire's name?
Oh, God.
Well, I mean, he was just saying all the things that you imagine in a
cheesy rom-com kind of.
They meet 5 seconds, and he's just like, marry me.
Right.
That's called love bombing, and you should leave as soon as possible.
Well, that's I like the setup, the whole DNA test,
Yes.
She's got no family left, and they're bringing,
I mean, it had those cheesy puzzle pieces, misunderstood girl, dead mom for character development.
Yeah.
Mysterious British man comes, sweeps her away.
Yeah.
Mysterious man with just enough buttons undone to make it weird.
And that's, it's just to make it weird. I'm sorry. It took my brain a minute to register that. But yeah, that's, it was everything I expected from, the romance side of that. That's the dark, brooding, mysterious vampire type, that whole stereotype in a vampire film. I took that to an extent, and then that carried on forever. I will say, favorite character, Mrs. Swift.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The saving grace.
Yes.
That's the caretaker in the film.
I have a drinking game to go with this movie.
Yeah.
Take a shot every single time what's-his-face clenches his jaw.
Oh,
You'll be wasted by the end.
Wait, which, the main vampire guy?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Grinding his teeth. Just a little snivel.
Yes. Run away from me.
Oh my, run away. I ate it. Let me eat your liver with some fava beans.
Some fava beans.
Oh my God.
Costumes were great. We both loved.
Well, that's. Oh yeah. So that was definitely.
Who's the bad bitch? Who's the cool wife that we all love?
Freaking Lady Dimitrescu ripoff. She was cool. She was definitely cool. I like that. That was an interesting thing too. I think that if they had kind of brought all of those people together more.
Yeah.
That also would have been an interesting dynamic. You don't really see, she's supposed to be, one of his 3 wives or something like that?
Well, yeah. Dracula's brides.
Right, Dracula's brides.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole polygamy thing and all.
We're modern.
But yeah, so, that aspect is, barely touched upon at all. They maybe speak all of, 2 words to each other, and that's, it until they get to the point of vampiric stuff, and so if they had kind of brought it and not to say, you don't want to make it too Resident Evil-y, but the whole family ties thing, it would have been kind of interesting to see that.
It would have been very interesting, and they had the drama. They brought you there in the last 20 minutes, and it's just if you saw all of that, you're like, that was the whole movie, I would have been so into this. I would have been so about that.
That's what, like, even just you have, I wish I knew these characters now. I wish I like had them in front of me, but like the Lady Demetresque version, you know, the sweet one, the sweet vampire that was like so innocent and like just sort of trying to make things go right with this whole craziness.
Yeah.
And then the main guy.
Yeah.
And that was like head vampire trio, basically.
Yep.
And then the rest of the townspeople and all that were pretty much just making sure that everything goes accordingly, and you know they're just keep saving their own asses.
Yeah.
If they had taken the time to combine those three and their relationship and kind of toss her more, the lead girl into the middle of their relationship more, that also would have been at least a little bit better than the cheesy one-liners throughout the... Like, at least if there was more drama on top of each other.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I'd even take that. Like, it doesn't have to be straight vampire action from beginning to end.
Right.
You know? And that's, I think the reason that we went with the rating that we went with was because that ending sequence was so epic.
Yeah.
That, like, it saved a lot of points for everything leading up to that.
I agree.
Him, you know, with the whole losing his vampire essence thing and turning old, like, that all had this very, like, Beetlejuice-esque look to it for me.
You said that the night we saw it.
Yeah. And that's, like, I was thinking about it more and more, and I was like, it's definitely not, you know, at all similar in terms of concept, obviously.
Right.
But, like, aesthetically, like, the color scheme, him turning old kind of looked like Alec Baldwin's character in Beetlejuice when he, you know, gets old. And, like, those effects and all that stuff, that really pulled me into that last... I was like, this is cool as hell. And, like, Lady Demetresque almost dying like Lady Demetresque does in the...
Yes. Spoilers.
Yeah, all right. Well, I'm probably going to put a spoiler disclaimer at the beginning of this. Because it's hard to talk about a movie without, you know, delving into all these details, and I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but...
I do.
Yeah, but just a little bit. But yeah, that whole final sequence kind of saves it until... And then you get another... Again... The cheesy one-liners of, like, when they're going in with the baseball bat, and she's like, ha, bat, get it? Get it? Like...
That...
I was like, oh, come on.
On the right track.
On the right track. I mean, you know, giving credit where credit is due, again, not a vampire movie in a very long time that's hit the main screen, at least that I can remember off the top of my head.
Yeah.
You know, so... had all the makings there, you know, like, and you had mentioned when we saw it too, the fact that all the characters felt very one-dimensional, and there wasn't a lot of elaboration on them.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of depth to everyone, you know, everyone had their trope, and that was it.
Yeah.
No one I viewed as a human being. Like, we do have those side characters that are there just for looks or are there just for the background, but I felt like everyone had that, like, you know, yeah, my mom's dead. Yeah, I'm a vampire. I'm from the 1920s. I'm from the 1600s.
Yeah.
That's it. Everyone seemed to be very one-dimensional. Everyone had their trope. You know, you have dead mom. I'm a vampire. I'm from the 1920s. I'm from the 1600s. I'm the cranky one. I'm the bubbly one.
Right.
And that's more or less of what we got from everyone.
The cranky, you know, like, well, I know who you're referring to, but I was thinking also just like the butler. That was a butt face. The butler that was kind of a butt face.
Yeah.
Miss Swift. I love how Miss Swift is the only character's name I can remember.
Yeah.
Like, and that just, like, that says something. Because, like, we're talking as, like, you know, we're using Lady Demetresque to describe that one lady. Like, she could have been so much more.
Yeah.
And, like, these characters are so throwaway that we can't even remember what they were called.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Swift, for some reason, just sticks out in my memory now because she was so like, you know, that those last couple of scenes where she's just trying to help and then gets, you know, axed in the head.
Yup.
It's like
served on the rocks.
Oh, served on the rocks, yeah. And that like what a way to go. But she was like a true hero in that sense.
Yeah.
She saved our leading role and, you know, made sort of that made an impression. And I think the one use of the F-bomb,
solid.
The old woman.
That was great.
Oh my God. When they were you know, drink your tea, and I was like, okay, obviously something's up. And then she just tosses the tea in the guy's face. And spins around, gets, I don't know, what did she hit her in the head with?
That's a great question.
It was like some blunt object in like this antique shop. And just, now don't go effing this up for us, dearie. I was like, oh.
I mean, you know that's exactly what some little old lady that we think is cute would totally say.
Yes, especially in this circumstance.
Oh,
you know, trying to save themselves.
Yes.
But, yeah, you know, like, those characters, like, Mrs. Swift shouldn't be the character that I remember from this movie.
Yeah.
And she is. And the rest of those characters, like, I mean, the butler being, you know, an angry old butler could have easily been thrown away. I think that what they should have focused on was a little bit of the relationship with the families to the vampires and how they're saving themselves.
Yes.
And how, you know, a little bit of how all that started. Because, I mean, the movie starts with the flashback scene. And all you get is that this woman that was one of his wives.
Yeah.
That was part of this family lineage
that was supposed to be one of his
main
wives.
girl is from. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, ends up hanging herself. And then that's it. Yeah. There's no further elaboration on the family. There's no, you know, like, and you know, you can have the begrudging butler. You can have all these like little victims for the maids that are brought up. Like that's another one that they really like. They pressed the point of showing you that they had numbers on their shirts and stuff.
Yes.
It's like where were we getting to with that? Like, did they have to cut something from the movie or like?
I think that's where this movie just went awry, is just the poor use of time. They made it really about him just slowly seducing her.
Yeah.
And they didn't put enough time into the whole story. I think they went way too hard with the fantasy, which, don't get me wrong, vampire films are supposed to be seductive, you know, mysterious, but they really, really wasted time on that, personally, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show again, like, I can remember how cheesy a lot of the lines were and a lot of the romance was, and, like, I remember having that, like, oh, God, kind of moment, like, every time that guy spoke.
Yeah.
But I can't even tell you, like, what one of the one-liners were or anything. Like, nothing was memorable about what was going on with any of that material. You
know which scene pissed me off the most? The one where he takes her to the house that used to be the ice house, and it's literally like a pottery thing, which, of course, you know, for her.
Oh, right.
And then they're sitting on the desk, and the friggin' fireworks go out, and he's like, what a coincidence.
Yeah.
This had no purpose at all.
Oh, my God. He's like, do you want me to make them stop?
That made me so mad.
That whole sequence. Again, you know, I get... Like, it's the same point we keep coming back to, is that, like, the romance is part of the whole vampire thing. They just made it all about that. A lot of the coming attractions were, like, that meme of, like, oh, I watched The Invitation for the plot, and then the plot, and it was a picture of this guy with his shirt all open.
Yeah.
And...
Mr. Three Buttons.
Right, yeah, exactly. And... if that was what you were selling, then you definitely sold it. But, like, you know, they sold it as a horror film, and in that regard, you know, maybe you got, like, one or two jump scares. There was actually, like, some scenes that are actually coming back to mind now. Like, when the one maid looks up in the ceiling rafters and the eyes peer down and you don't see anything else but the eye. Like, that's
pretty good.
Scary. You know, that's pretty good. But that was scary, and I like looked at it. I was like, oh, well, like I wouldn't want to see that in the dark, like So, again, all those little makings of, I don't know where in the line they were like, all right, let's stop doing that. So this movie was PG-13. I don't know if they were trying to save a rating by not going further with any more gore and shock than they did. But I would have much rather it take an R rating and take that L and go forward with a little bit more of the, scary scenes and things popping out at you and, you know, vampires actually being vampires a little bit more, Yeah. And it's not to say, like, they're not, it's not Twilight. But it's like the bridge between, like, regular Dracula film and that,
Yes. We didn't leave this movie theater mad, but we were definitely wishing our favorite bits stayed in motion. The momentum was great, and then it stopped when it needed to keep going. And I think that's where we drew it back from that 10 to 5.5.
Yeah. Definitely. I think that, again, all the pieces were there, all the character development was there in that last half hour. Those characters definitely, if they had been elaborated more on, if they had more time for more action and for more, even something along the lines of, like, when the Lady Dimitrescu is like, when she gets her finger cut, like that was actually anxiety inducing. That whole sequence of doing the nails, I was like,
you were wiggling.
I know, it was skeeving me out. It was getting too close, and I was like, this looks like it's gonna hurt. But when she's like, oh, let me see, and she just licks the blood off the finger.
Yep.
Things of that nature, that weirdness, that creepiness. That should have been the lead up.
Absolutely.
Because at the point that you're in the movie theater, at this point, after watching all the trailers and everything, like, you already know who the vampire is. It's not a shock, and it kind of almost makes it feel like that's supposed to be the big reveal at the end, is that after all of this romance between the two, that it's like, oh my god, he's a vampire. And it's like, of course he's a vampire. Like, that is a very obvious part of this storyline.
Yes.
And instead of that being the big reveal, if it was more about the family ties, if it was more about this Lady Dimitrescu and the other girl and all these other elements that could have been more elaborated on, I think that also would have been a great build-up. That would have saved a lot of the fluff in that.
Yes, the fluff.
The fluff.
That's a good word.
I'm pretty sure that's what I used in the written review too.
Good job.
I also, not to be mean to him, not that he's not a good-looking guy.
I don't think so. He's pretty ugly. Like, he's so traditionally pretty that I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Where's the spice?
I could kind of see
Where's
that.
the favor?
It is sort of like a, not that he's not a bad-looking guy. He's a good-looking guy.
Yes.
But he's good-looking in such a traditional sense, I think, that it, like, on top of the fact that his character is written one-dimensional, he looks one-dimensional.
Yes.
And it's just like, all right, what do I do with this? Like, there's, like you said, there's no spice.
No spice.
I think if there was a little bit of something to that, maybe.
Yep.
Even the
little 5 o'clock shadow
even the transformation, it was like, all right, black fingertips, fangs. Wow.
That was me in middle school.
It was just well, it wasn't a phase, clearly.
It's not a phase, Mom.
What, Bartholomew?
What is the final verdict?
The invitation was something to be excited for, being the vampire enthusiasts that we are. However, most of the movie felt as if we were watching a romance film. It certainly had beautiful wardrobe, gorgeous setting, and aesthetically pleasing set design.
We simply wish it gave more of the vampire action and drama that it brought out in the end. And for that, we give the invitation a 5.5 out of 10.
That's our show. Thanks for tuning in.
And until next time, Ghosts and Ghouls,
Have a frightful eve.